Charles Wade Barkley was born and raised in Leeds, Alabama, located just 10 miles outside of Birmingham. While playing basketball at Leeds High School, Charles was an unknown commodity to college recruiters until the final game of his senior year, when he outplayed Alabama's most highly recruited player, Bobby Lee Hurt, in the state semifinals. Barkley's performance led to a scholarship offer from Auburn University.
I remember the first time I saw him on TV. He was a college player at Auburn. I saw him get a rebound, put the ball on the floor, and was leading a fast break. Put it behind his back, between his legs, faked one guy and then went in for a jam.
I remember him in college where he was fat. I'm like, man, for a guy his size, as big as he is, how agile he was, how quick he was, how he could jump, and I'm like, wow.
I remember he had this big butt, little bitty shorts, and a big head, and going up and down, and they called him the Round Mound.
Hello, I'm Charles Barkley of Auburn Tigers. Here I feel my nickname, the Bread Truck, the Love Boat, Food World, the Frisco Kid, which is my second favorite, the Wide Loafing League, Town of Fun, the Good Time Blimp. But my favorite is the Round Mound of Rebound.
The player who would later become known as Sir Charles was a three-time All-SEC selection and was named the conference's Player of the Year in 1984 after leading the Tigers to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. After his junior season, Barkley declared for the NBA draft and was selected with the 5th overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers.
What made Charles such a great player was his ability to redefine a position, I thought. There was no one his size doing what he did.
He could do things that I didn't know that he could do for being, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is.
He was just a freakish athlete, bottom line. I mean, the guy 6'4" and a half that took up space like he did, ran the court like he did, handled the ball, rebounded, and then had an ability to score with guys that he was giving up 3-4 inches every night. Was just unbelievable.
Charles spent 8 seasons in Philly, where he learned under the tutelage of Moses Malone and Dr. J. Barkley then blossomed into one of the best and most popular players in the NBA.
Humphries can't get free of Tony. Here's a steal by Barkley. What a big play!
While in the city of brotherly love, he also built up a reputation as a tough guy.
He had been in the NBA 1 year and had a ferocious reputation. And he was a big man, and I had a cup of coffee with him, and I remember being totally intimidated. I was afraid that if I said the wrong thing that he'd just swat me. So basically I had a cup of coffee with Charles Barkley and I never said anything.
First time I knew Charles was a badass was downtown Orlando. I was walking down the street. I didn't see it, but I heard it. I heard this dude come flying through the glass. So, I kind of walked down the street, and then when I came back, they said, Charles just threw this dude out the glass window. That's when I knew he was a badass.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Barkley made the headlines once again on June 17, 1992, when he was traded to the Phoenix Suns.
Considering I probably suggested it the year before, not for me necessarily, but just the fact that we should get Charles Barkley to give us a low post threat. I knew it was going to be a good deal for Phoenix.
The whole valley in Phoenix changed the moment he came into town because he was just like a force.
Put it this way, it was nothing like we'd ever seen.
I remember when Charles got traded, Karl Malone had been dominating the West at Utah. People asked Charles how he thought he would match up against Karl Malone, and he says, tell Carl there's a new sheriff in town. He was John Wayne in sneakers.
Charles elevated the visibility of our franchise in a huge way, nationally. In fact, even internationally.
Before Barkley suited up for the Suns, he wore the red, white, and blue at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona. The United States squad, which won every game by an average of 44 points, was deemed the greatest collection of players ever, and were known as the Dream Team.
Charles Barkley was our best player. He dominated all the opponents. He led us in scoring. He was amazing.
Charles carried that momentum into his first year in Phoenix. He led the Suns to a 62-20 record, the best in the NBA. Barkley averaged 26 points and 12 rebounds per game and was named the league's most valuable player.
The fans here and around America join me in congratulating you, Charles Barkley, the 1992-93 National Basketball Association Most Valuable Player. Congratulations.
That season, Charles Barkley simply would not let his team lose.
It was the team. I mean, he really was.
The year he won MVP was just one of those years that just blew everybody away.
Charles was the best basketball player in the planet, period.
The guy had the versatility and ability to do whatever. People always say, well, have you ever seen anybody like LeBron James before? And I said, yes. And they're like, who? And I said, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley could get a rebound and come down on the break, go behind his back, and go in there and dunk two hands on anybody that was standing there waiting on him.
Robinson on Barkley. It's his game to win. Barkley, 20-footer, yes, with 1.8 seconds. Charles Barkley.
Barkley and the Suns battled their way through the Western Conference during the 1993 playoffs before making it to the NBA Finals to face the Chicago Bulls.
God want us to win the World Championship.
I don't know if I go that far, Charles.
No, I talked to him the other night.
Charles averaged 27 points and 13 rebounds against Chicago, which included a triple-double in Game 4.
When he set his mind to do something, he'd just go ahead and do it.
He had this will that he wanted to win. You know, Charles loved the big moments, and the bigger the game, the better Charles played.
The more was on the line, the more he concentrated, and the more he rose to the occasion. He just was somebody who embraced competition.
The Bulls won the best-of-7 series 4-2, but the city of Phoenix still celebrated their hometown heroes with a downtown parade. Charles had become the face of the franchise and the unofficial team spokesman.
Everybody told me I look fat, and I told them I don't look fat, I am fat. I'm a very spontaneous person. Party's on me tonight. Everybody, if you look good, if you're ugly, stay home.
To play a great game like I did tonight, it feels good. Thanks, man.
We can trade for you too.
I tell people all the time, you know, he wrote more stories than I ever did when I was covering the Suns, because there were many times I went into the locker room and I had no idea what I was going to write that night. And then Charles would say something outrageous or funny or controversial or all of the above. And not only did I have a story, I sometimes had 2 or 3 that I had to write.
Never make fun of blind people or people who wear glasses. That's my advice to America. It's up to the officials' discretion, which they have no clue.
His quotes, his misquotes, water sinks to its own level, blind acorn can find a nut. You know, and all these things were said in the heat of battle, right in you know, everybody in the locker rooms. It's kind of like the old Animal House thing, you know, don't bother him, he's on a roll, let him go.
Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now.
I have several movie roles that I'm looking at to do in the future, but I just don't know if I want to put myself in that situation where I want to work that much.
This is ABC News Nightline.
No, I had a couple chances to do Nightline, but them people too intelligent. I don't want to do real intelligent shows. I want to do funny shows. I don't want to think too much.
He would kill the English language and say things that made no sense, and the players would just ride him.
My job was to always come in after him, and he'd talk to reporters, and I have to clean up his quote and cover him up and then translate what Charles really meant to say. So that was part of my side job when I was playing with Charles.
Barkley played 4 years in Phoenix before being traded to Houston prior to the 1996-97 season. Charles also spent 4 years with the Rockets before calling it a career in 2000 after 16 years in the NBA. Barkley was selected to the All-NBA and All-Star teams 11 times. In 2006, he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame.
He was just a force to be reckoned with. Charles could do so many things. He was definitely one of the greatest power forwards to play in this game.
He wasn't scared of anybody. He was a fierce competitor. He had a will to win that was higher than anybody else's that I ever played against.
Charles Barkley was a great athlete, but he understood the game. Everybody knew he was the man for the ball club.
It was a dream come true to be able to play with Charles. I mean, he was unstoppable. It was truly one of those experiences that not very many players get a chance to play with a caliber, a player of Charles, one of the 50 greatest players all time.
For all the nicknames he had, you know, when he came playing basketball, you know, a lot of people shut up and said he was a hell of a basketball player. So you can call him that. Call him a Hall of Famer. That's what you can call him.
The thing, you know, that I respected him most for was no matter what went on, the guy came to play every day, every minute, and he played hurt.
The thing that makes him stand out so much in the minds of Suns fans is that he had fun too.
He could play with finesse, he could play with power. He was a hard matchup. I have some friends of mine who gave me some analytics on this. His PER was off the charts and his usage rate was a little below average, so average player.
Very chubby, but still got up the court, rebounded well, and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. You know, he's always been one of my favorite players until he hit me with the ball. Oh, you didn't see that one? Here it goes right here.
Charles has meant way more to the Nike brand than people realize. I mean, first of all, for a guy that overweight to play as well as he did, it's got to be the shoes.
It was a great ride. It was like traveling with a rock star. It really was. Everywhere we went.
It was like, you know, being a part of the Beatles when he was here. It was like traveling a rock star. Made it a lot of fun.
He's a guy that knows how to have fun. I remember in the Dream Team, they told us, stay out, don't go on the Ramblers. That's the little area outside by where we stayed where, you know, a lot of shops and a lot of bars and markets and stuff. And who was out there every day? Charles.
The one thing I always remember is one of the first games back to Phoenix, and we beat the Suns when I was, I think it must have been in Utah, and one of my kids went up to Charles and said, "Ha, Charles, we beat you." And Charles looked at him and grabbed him and picked him up. He goes, "I'm gonna take your head and rip it off and eat it and chew it up." And it was, my son, was, you know, his eyes were like, uh-oh. But he was just a fun guy.
Barkley's playful personality could also be seen on TV throughout his playing days, in commercials and guest appearances. And thanks to his work as an Emmy award-winning analyst on TNT, it continues in his second career.
We want to show those push-ups, and folks, are these actual push-ups?
Yes, no. Yes, they are. No, those are not. Are you kidding me?
The problem being, Kenny?
The arms aren't locking and the chest isn't hitting the floor. You're kidding me.
The arms are locking on the way up, but
Ernie, on the way down.
I think the problem is going to the...
Yeah, you have not the belly hit the floor. Man. We don't want the belly to hit the floor. We want the chest.
Yeah.
That's a push-up. That's a belly up.
What's it been like working with Charles? I tell people that every show is somewhere between a walk on the beach and a train wreck. You never know what's going to happen next, and I think Charles is a big reason for that because he's broken the mold as far as shows like ours go. He's really just redefined the landscape in terms of what a studio analyst can do.
I just really love the fact that he's gotten that job for so many years and done such a great job.
He says what he feels, and it's nice and refreshing to be able to do that.
The one thing you can just say about Charles is he's fun-loving.
Charles was bigger than life, still is, you know, in terms of his impact on the game.
Whatever you're being paid, Charles, it isn't enough. And if there's a Hall of Fame for broadcasters, you absolutely deserve to be in it.
Barkley's contributions to basketball, both on and off the court, have left an indelible impact on the game. But his lasting legacy might be what he's done for others along the way.
He has a big heart. There is no player that has ever played the game that has a bigger heart than Charles Barkley. He will give to any community, any cause, and make a difference any way he can. And I think he realizes his persona is much bigger than basketball, and that's something that he doesn't get enough credit for, and I think he certainly should.
Charles is one of the nicest human beings that you would ever want to meet. He does so many things for people that no one knows about.
Charles is a guy that, man, talk about breaking the mold when they made this, man. Not only a great basketball player, a fierce competitor, and one of the toughest guys I've ever met, but also one of the friendliest guys I've ever met. A superstar that doesn't act like a superstar, a Hall of Famer that doesn't act like one.
He's a nice guy. He's a personable guy. He'll give a lot of time to people that probably shouldn't be given a lot of time to, and then he has to throw them out a plate glass window because they won't leave him after about a half hour, an hour.
Charles is just an awesome person. He'll do anything to help anybody. There will never be another Charles Barkley.